In this tutorial, I'm going to go through what I call the strum. And the strum is one of the most commonly used strums in all of popular guitar-based music. And while it doesn't have an official name that I know of, I'm calling it the strum because it's so common. In fact, you've probably heard it your entire life. Maybe you didn't have a name for it, but I think you're going to recognize it, and most likely many of your favorite songs use this strum. Okay, so let's talk about this notation. First of all, is it entirely necessary to understand this strum in standard notation? No, of course not. You could learn this by ear. You could learn it by someone showing it to you. You could watch this tutorial, or I'm sure there are many other good tutorials on this as well. But for the purpose of this class, we are learning standard notation, so I've got it written out here in standard notation. How does it work? Well, it's generally in 4/4 time, so we're doing it in 4/4 time. I've just written the pattern twice, so this measure is identical to this measure. I've just got it written twice in a row, then a repeat. Okay, a couple things about the extra things in the notation. D for down strum, so you're going to go down toward the ground with your strumming hand, and U for up strum, so you'll strum up toward your chin with your strumming hand, so down, up. Then we've got a combination of quarter notes and eighth notes. All right, we've also got a tie in here. Now remember that a tie means that you're going to play the first beat and let it ring through the second note of the tie. And just a reminder that when we stack notes vertically on a staff, that means they're played at the same time. So this is just written as a G chord. Notice the notes are all the same location, lines and spaces of the staff. And if we break it down, that low note is a G, then a B, then a D, then a G, then a B, then a G on the first string, 3rd fret. So that's just a G chord written in standard notation. And so you can, of course, do this on open strings or any other chord. I've just written it out so you have something to work with. All right, here we go. So we're going to play this rhythm. It's going to sound like this. I'm going to tap it out on the desk while I count it so that you can hear the rhythm. I think you'll recognize it. And then in a moment, we'll pick it up and apply it to the guitar. So here I go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, that's the basic rhythm. Now, you'll notice also that I've put in parentheses for the and of 1 and the 3. Same thing here. And that means we're counting that note, but we're not going to be physically playing there or there. Obviously here, because there's nothing to play written above that and. But then here, because this is a tie, so this is still ringing from the and of 2, but you're not striking the strings on beat 3. I'm going to do it on my leg now because I realized I don't want to shake the camera. So let me do it again. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, that's the rhythm. It would be a good idea to count and clap that a few times first and practice that. One last thing before I pick up my guitar and we work on it on the actual guitar. Notice above this and in parentheses is a U in parentheses, and same thing here. Above the 3 in parentheses, there's a D in parentheses. That means we are going to move our hand up, but we are not going to strike the strings there. Here we're going to move our hand down, our strumming hand, but we're not going to actually physically touch the strings there. Okay, here we go. Enough talk. Let's play. So here is the strum. Now there I've done it on open strings. That's a perfectly valid and legitimate way to get to know it and to practice it. I'm going to put my left hand on the G chord so that it's actually as we've got written it out. Here it is again with the G chord. Sorry. I've found over the years of teaching students this strum is that while they'll get the rhythm pretty quickly, ba, 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 that's easy to imitate, right? The difficulty they tend to have is that they forget which direction to go, and that's because they're not following this simple rule. And you can apply this to a lot of different complicated strumming patterns, and that is, notice that when I'm doing this strum, my right hand, in my case, because I'm strumming with my right hand, is strumming down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. It's never deviating from that. However, there are 2 times in the pattern where I'm not striking the strings when I come up, and that's the tricky part. If you don't do that, you're going to get off track and do 2 in a row of the wrong, or you're going to do the wrong down or up at the wrong time, I should say, or do the wrong thing at the right time. I guess it depends on how you look at it. All right, so notice down, and then I go up, then I go down, up, then I go down again without hitting the strings, up, down, up. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And that really is the hardest part of this strum. It's going to take some practice, but I'm going to do it slowly, and you can try to play along. That's what I call the strum. It does take a lot of practice. Eventually, you're just going to be able to do it by feel. Some of you may pick up on this really quickly, or you may already know this strum. Others, be patient. It does take a while to get it, but I recommend practicing clapping it out loud to get the rhythm, and then, or tapping it out loud. You don't have to clap it. You can tap on the desk or whatever. And then just remember as you're learning it to keep that right hand going down, up, the entire time, even when you're not hitting the strings on those 2 occasions that we talked about in each pattern.